everybody. If I turn my mic on, that might work like it's supposed to, right?
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. It's been that kind of day, y'all. Welcome, affirmers. Welcome to our recording of this episode. Listen, we are excited. We have a new series that's popping off. But before I get to that, let me intro everybody. My name is Karon Fairweather, also known as the Affirmation Whisperer. I have so much to offer women who are looking to get started to reignite their second act, I like to call it. So
Yeah.
reach out to me on all the socials so we can talk and get things popping for you. I also have my beautiful, look at these ladies. Look at them. They're just glowing. Look at them. I have Miss Clivia Allen, also known as hashtag Her Chosen Story. Miss Clivia has a podcast. She's on Spotify. She has books. She's an editor. She's a mom. She's a coach. She is dot 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 dot. And so
She's every woman.
she is in these streets helping all kinds, the women, the men, the children. She has some stuff coming up on regarding dancing. Make sure y'all stay posted on that because
Yeah.
she's stepping into her love, her
Yes.
movement and such. So make sure you stay connected with her. And last but not least, we have the beautiful, the amazing, the gorgeous Miss Marcy Moments of Thursday Therapy Podcast on Facebook and IG. Miss Marcy also daily, just about every weekday, she shares Marcy Moments on IG with us. This morning, she talked to us about hugging trees, y'all. Did y'all hug a tree today? If you didn't, go hug a tree. Miss Clivia did. She posted it on one of the socials.
I
So
did.
we have three women who come from different perspectives of life, but we have so much that we add to this podcast. And because of our differences, we fit well. We fit very, very well. With that being said, let's get to this series that we're starting today. Miss Clivia is going to lead us in this 4-part series on living holistically. Living holistically. So we have a producer who has wonderful.
I love that.
So she says, "Oh man, the trees."
She trying to take us out. Well, I'm gonna hug both. I want my man to be tall like a tree.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming.
That was good.
Not in the middle of my intro, but anyway, let's get back to this intro. So today's conversation, holistic, healthy living series, 4-part series that will be led by Miss Clivia Allen. Today, our topic is the power of prayer and fasting. I'm certain all of us, the three of us, and those of you that are listening, know something about prayer and fasting. And today we're going to talk about it in a holistic manner. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Miss Clivia. What say you, ma'am?
Yes, I was honored to lead this series, this conversation of healthy, holistic living, and some topics did come to me, and one of them that popped right off was pray and fast. I remember one of the conversations we had in previous episode. We talked about I think self-care, and I did mention what prayer and fasting does for me, right? Whether it's I start writing, I get song lyrics, so many things happen during that season of fasting. And normally the beginning of the year, I normally do like a week fast. But in the past, which I am going to start back doing after this conversation, at least once a week, I would definitely like put my plate down just to reconnect, and it's healthy. And that's how we're talking about it. And I'm going to define, what that looks like for the average person. There's different types of fasting. There's absolute fasting where there's no food or water for a specific period. Normal fast, abstaining from all solid foods while consuming liquids. I normally stick with either water and tea according to my day. I might have coffee, but no milk. And partial fast, limiting certain foods or meals, or engaging in intermittent fasting. And, fasting, we normally hear about it, like we said, from church, whether it's a corporate or, again, individual. And for me, it really brings me to a place of peace. It brings me to a place where, and we can fast from different things, right? You can fast
Mhm.
from drinking, you can fast from smoking, you can fast from food, at least certain types of food, or you might just do fruits. And again, it's really it purifies the body, and it really connects you with yourself and connects you with God. So we're going to
Mhm.
talk a little more, but I want to know your experience, you guys experience with, prayer and fasting, and what that looks like for you. Some people have never done it because they're afraid to not eat, and it's not starving. And I
Mhm.
remember there is a scripture that talks about not even announcing it, like, hey, I'm fasting. They might have a screwed up face because they're connecting with God, but it doesn't really matter that you don't have to tell the world that you're fasting, because
Mhm.
that's between you and God, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's a spiritual fast. But then people fast for health reasons. Sometimes we have to fast if we have to do blood work, so there's different types of fast. But for me, it's that spiritual fast that I'll focus on today.
So I'm gonna go first. So our church does the Daniel fast every year from January the 1st to January the 21st.
Mm,
It's basically a vegan fast. So
mm,
no meat, no dairies, vegan. So this year I was able um, to do it, to take it a step even further, where I actually joined another group and we did a fast, but it was 80% raw
mm.
and 20% was a vegetable soup that was cooked. So and that was the first time I did a fast, like that week. So the 21 days I got down pat. So
Mhm.
God was like, you know how to give up meat, you know how to give up dairy. It's easy. Alcohol, um, and coffee. So coffee is always, no matter what, it's just like it's always like it's a whole shock to me. But
Yeah.
when I did the 80/20 fast, um, that took it to another level.
Mm,
Uh, and even today, I still have some of those things. Like I still have a few of the recipes, like making my own salad dressing, trying to make that, do the soup again. Um, and I enjoy the fast. I actually look forward to it. I need to do it more often, not 21 days. I'm not even gonna lie.
right.
But to do like the 80/20 fast for a week, I wouldn't mind. I think we in the group that I'm in, we're doing it like the change of the seasons. So I'm gonna do it four
Mhm.
times a year. Uh so
Mhm.
I should be coming up on it in probably another month.
Yeah.
But fasting and praying is something that's so important, and we don't realize how many health benefits it is to allowing our bodies to just get clear and
Mhm,
let the organs, let our intestines kind of get a
mhm.
rest, because we eating all the time.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So but I'm glad you brought that up. So now Spirit is like, okay, now you need to get on your fasting and praying, because our church used to do every Wednesday fasting and praying. So I'm gonna talk to Pastor. I'm like, let's get that incorporated again. I guess
Mhm.
that was a good
Mhm.
thing, because I used to do that also.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For me, of course, I was introduced to fasting and praying through church. Not sure, I can't say that I actually connected with the spiritual and physical purpose of fasting and praying until I got much older to really have my own spiritual walk and
Mhm.
really understand what I'm doing here. What is the point of not eating, et cetera, et cetera. So I, I got to understand what it's all about. And I began to really get into what fasting and praying was. So my right now I'm getting ready to do a detox that includes getting away from certain foods. And during that detox, I have a spiritual practice where I just kind of amp up my prayer time, right? I just really increase, amp up, increase what I'm doing, the intensity of what I'm doing, because I am cleansing my body. And speaking of cleansing the body, when you go on a fast, you're literally giving yourself a digestive rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marcy said, your body a digestive rest from, because if you're like me, I graze all day up until like 6 o'clock. I'm grazing all day. So my stomach is always processing something.
Okay.
But when you go on a food fast where you're getting away from foods and you're just going to do a liquid fast for whatever, it is so good for the body because we don't give our body, our digestive system a rest.
Yeah.
We eat late, right? We eat too many starches, we eat too many sweets, we just eat too much. We don't have a, and when I say we, I'm just talking about those that I know. I don't know everybody, but those that
Right.
I know, we just overindulge in certain foods. And by giving
Okay.
ourselves digestive rest, we really can gain that clarity because we are connected in all ways. When you are have eaten something that causes your blood pressure to go up, then you can't have clarity. You can't
Right.
have a really clear way of thinking because your blood pressure is up and your head is hurting or whatever may be happening with your body, or you ate too much sugar, now your glucose is up. So when we improperly nourish our bodies, it affects all parts of our body. So if I'm in the middle of a prayer fast and I'm praying, but I'm eating all kinds of food that make me lethargic and make me slow down, or make me I'm zipping through here because I had too much caffeine, they really don't coincide together. So when we are fasting, or when we're on a spiritual fast or a spiritual journey and we want clarity, to me, in my opinion, one of the best way to gain more clarity is really to abstain from certain foods, or foods altogether, for a couple of days or however long you can go. Did do a water fast once, and it was one of the toughest fasts that I've done.
Mm.
But when I tell you the amount of clarity I had about things, and one might say, well, why don't you just do it again? No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. You really have to be ready for a water fast, because you literally are abstaining from all foods and just hydrating your body just so you can sustain. Because you can go without food, but water, depending on who you are and how you're built, it's a little bit more challenging. For me, this series is really prompting me to get back to my spiritual routine of my daily meditation and prayer. I would do my meditation, but not necessarily my prayer. But this series is prompting me to get back to that, because in my prayer, let me tell y'all something. When it comes down to prayer for me, it is such a experience where I
Mm.
can release things that are on my mind, on my heart, things that I might be stressing over, to really truly release it during my prayer times, and having that conversation with God, and just acknowledging that He already knows everything. So I have no need to worry, although I will worry. But having my prayer time really is an opportunity for me to release all of that and literally just yield. For me, that is a physical experience as well, because I can feel the weight lift off me as I am letting go of that. So the fasting, the prayer, and the mental connectivity that goes along with that, for me, everybody should have that incorporated into their lives in some level.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You do that. You figure that out for yourself. But to have some a routine or a practice where you can disconnect from food, or disconnect from TV, or disconnect from social media. My sister does that often. She'll have a social media fast and just shut down everything. My daughter does it often too, just because it's so distracting.
Mm-hmm.
So those things that keep you from being connected, from being grounded, to be able to ground yourself through a fast, is something that I believe everybody should adopt.
I love that. I love that. And, I remember the last week of fast I did, I think it was 5 days, having the children here, it's hard for me to cook when I'm fasting. So I would still have to prepare. I'll still have to smell the seasoning, and all of that. And what I did, I sat with them and, had devotion, not every day, but we sat down and I asked them, what would you like to fast from? Because I know food wasn't on the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what would you want to basically disconnect from for the week? And for one, I believe she said her disconnection would really be from being anxious, right? That was my daughter. And then my son, I forgot what his own was, maybe being on YouTube or maybe being on his phone as much. And, again, we're talking spiritual fast, but even from things that can cause distraction in our daily lives, right? And for those that are listening and will listen, we talk about spiritual fast, and I have some pointers. Duration of fast, the length of a fast can vary significantly depending on individual goals and physical health. So if you're on medication, obviously some medication you have to take it with food, right? So we're not saying to not have food, or because we're talking about fast, and maybe one day AM affirmation space would have a corporate fast, right? Because it also strengthens each other. We talk about iron sharpens iron and being our brother's keeper, and we fast for certain reasons. So if like maybe somebody's sick or you're praying for a job, turning your plate down and really preparing prior to, you would then again that connection with God. Spiritual preparation before beginning a fast, it is essential to prepare spiritually by praying for clarity on the purpose of the fast and confessing things, and whether you have to forgive your cousin, right? Because you don't want to go into that prayer and fast with a bitter heart, because God is probably like, you don't even have to do this because you're wasting time, right? So you want to make sure that your mind and your heart is clear, and that helps you prepare and focus on the intention of fasting. And focusing on women, set aside specific times each day for prayer and meditation. Again, we're entrepreneurs. We have our 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, however that looks. So you want to make sure, okay, if I'm doing a 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., so at least by the time I come home, I can break my fast. So if you're not going to break it, what would that look like where you're not getting sick? Right? Use hunger pangs as reminders to pray. So when you have a little urge or your stomach start singing a little song to you, maybe that's the time to sip on a cup of water and pray, right? Like Karon, you mentioned, God already knows. He knows our heart. He knows what we need, but he wants us to seek him, right? And that connection. And there's also how to break the fast. I remember days when I was younger and breaking the fast, I'll be ready for the biggest plate of food, but that's not wise. Because with your stomach not having food for a certain amount of days, you want to gradually, whether it's soup, whether it's a cup of tea, something warm, because how it ends is crucial. It should be done gradually to avoid digestive issues. Start with light foods like fruits or broths before returning to regular meals. This approach helps maintain the spiritual benefits gained during the fast. And like I said, I used to fast every Thursday, and working in an office, it was sometimes hard, but sometimes easy, especially when it was lunchtime. I just removed myself from the office and then I come back to work. So you would have to also set set alarms every day. For me, like currently at 12, my alarm goes off, time to pray. Because again, we're so busy throughout the day. Now, every other Tuesday, I have a space where it's a midday reset, right? Because again, we're so busy. Are we taking time to really separate ourselves to, disconnect from the busy life and reconnect with God, reconnect with our inner self, the Holy Spirit, and all the things. Anything you guys want to share before we go into some of the pointers that we do have listed?
When you mention reconnecting with your inner self, because we're always mentioning in some form or another about self-care, this here is foundational to your
Yes.
self-care. Having a meditative prayer fasting routine, and I don't care if your fasting is like Clivia said, for a few hours in a day, and then you break the fast in the evening. Do what works for you. Who
Right.
far be it for any of us to tell you what to do. We're just offering some ideas for you to explore, connecting with yourself, that inner you, because we have so much going on. We're going in different directions and we're thinking about 10 other things while we're doing one thing. It's just so much. But being able to have an opportunity, a routine, a practice where you disconnect from everything, even if it's a half hour a day, whatever it
Yes.
is, just incorporate it some kind of way so you can ground yourself.
Yeah.
I find for myself, when I have a consistent prayer meditation life, that when stuff comes up, I don't get so rattled by it.
Right.
because I've grounded myself for, not for that, but because I grounded myself, I am grounded and I'm not so shaken or not shaken at all because I just really firmed up my foundation, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're offering here today is just really some sound advice on living holistically, as the series title is, of how you really can take care of you from the inside out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong
Starts
with
from within.
all the stuff. There's nothing wrong with the beautiful makeup like Miss Marcy got on today, and the beautiful glasses, and the hair being adorned. What all that is. Listen, yes, please, and thank you.
Right.
But it's literally, I was on. I did a interview last week with Linda Husser for her book, and that I collaborated with her on, and I was mentioning how we can do all the exterior that we want,
Mm.
but if your interior is not getting the same or more attention,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to be
You're a pretty
showing.
mess.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Pretty mess.
exactly, exactly.
That's
So
it.
giving that attention to your inner self, your inner care, because that is what comes out and
That's real
beyond
self
all this.
care.
Yes,
That's real
Yeah.
self care when you can, when your inner core is healed, and it's that healing journey. When the
Yeah.
inner core is healing, because
healing.
it's always a healing journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Life is all about healing.
Yes,
But when Karon, you so that's self care right there,
it
and
is.
all
Yeah.
of the outer exterior is maintenance.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and it
love that.
feels
And
good to do the outer care though. It feels
Oh,
great
oh
to do.
no, I'm gonna be maintained.
Oh, I'm
I'm gonna be maintained.
well. While we're doing all that wonderful maintenance, what about maintaining the inner self? Because I
yeah.
listen, that's what's going to hold us up. That's what's going to hold us up. That inner care is what's going to hold us up, because we could be walking around here looking like everything, but if our
Right.
inner selves are not continually working on healing and continually working on grounding, everything else is just fruitless. So that's what I want.
Yeah. And I was going to say that, I mean, even our outer beauty, right? Sometimes we might have a breakout or our skin, you know, it's just all messed up. If we take care of our inside, and sometimes that fasting that our body needs, that's all we need. And that's the healing from within. So if we do that consistently, then we'll
Mhm.
see that beauty on the outside. So
Yeah.
it's a balance. It's a balance that where we purify the inside, the outside will have such a natural glow. Even for me, I
Mhm.
remember, even I know sometimes when I fast, I lose weight and I don't really like the way I look when I lose a certain amount of weight. But it's a beautiful thing just to see that natural glow. Your hair looks different. Your nails might look different. And it really starts from within. And when we fast, we expect something, right? Because you're fasting with an intention, and
Right.
sometimes the answer may not be when you expect it. And you're like, but God, I fasted, I prayed, I connected with you, and you didn't hear anything from him. And it might take 10 years, it might take 10 days, because his time is not our time. So be patient with, that whole process of what prayer and fasting
Yeah.
is, and give yourself grace. But it boils down to that spiritual awareness, clarity in decision making, deeper intimacy with God. And I have this noted that women are encouraged to expect results from their fasting efforts, whether they manifest as personal revelation or changes in circumstances. So again, it might take time and it might happen suddenly, because sometimes that's God, all God wants us to do. He just wants us to step away from our regular day and just spend time with him. It's just like a relationship.
Mhm.
Sometimes Bay just wants your attention, right? He wants you to maybe put the phone down at dinner. Maybe he wants you to have that conversation or whatever it is. And that brings us closer. So just like, having a partner, let that be that, what is it, vertical partner? Yeah, that vertical relationship. So we could show
Mhm.
those pointers from what we had in our notes. Benefits of prayer. The act of praying encourages mindfulness by focusing the mind on specific thoughts or intentions, which can enhance mental clarity. And there's nothing like that. Nothing
Mhm.
like that. Types of fasting. Intermittent fasting involves cycling between periods of eating and fasting. I remember one of the young people, they wanted to fast so bad. And when we said, let's fast. So they would sleep, go to bed late, and then wake up late and said that they fast, but they didn't. So it was cheating, basically. So it's like, okay, let's do it right. Prolonged fasting. Typically, this is types of fasting again. Prolonged fasting, typically lasting more than 24 hours, can also provide significant health benefits. And again, if you're on
Mhm.
medication, we're not telling you to fast, but consult your doctor and
Right.
see what that looks like
And
for you.
in the summertime, it's easier to do well a fruit fast because you have
Hmm.
Yeah.
I had some dragon fruit the other day
Hmm.
and some papaya, um and it's some other, then now mangoes are in season,
Hmm.
pineapples,
Watermelon.
watermelon, like
Yes.
that right there. Now the fruits I can do that
Yeah.
fast. I have to be careful because mangoes, watermelons, and pineapples, they have a lot of, they're of course natural sugar, but high end sugar.
Okay.
They're high end sugar.
Right.
So you can't consume a lot of it, but they're good, especially when they're in season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
and I
that.
yeah.
I love doing a fruit fast, and I'll end up doing a fruit fast unintentionally because I don't want to eat anything heavy. But the watermelon, the mango, the dragon fruit, there's that grape. What is that? It's
It's stuff.
muscadine, muscadine,
Yes.
the muscadine grapes and the kiwis. All these an array of fruits, and I'll buy them. And because I bought them, I got to eat them so they don't go bad, which is what I love about fresh food. It has an
Right.
expiration date on it, right?
I
Yeah.
just messed with two papayas. I cut them this morning, and they was like, it was
Oh, you waited too long.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to order from this Dr. Bobby Price farm in Miami. It's called I.H.E.R Fruit, and he has
Mm.
an array of seasonal fruits, and he only sells the fruits that are in season, not out
okay.
of season.
Oh
So
wow.
sour sops are in season now. So I'm going to
Mm.
order me a sour sop. And I know you're from the island, so you already know about that. But
So I never had the fruit.
Oh
I never
really?
had the fruit. I think I've had some tea, but never
Mhm.
the fruit. Hey, send that to me. I want to order some
Listen,
sour
I
sop.
will. Soursop is one of my most favorite. It's soursop and another one that I love so much. Um, is it guava?
Mm. I love
I
me
think
some guava.
I think it's the guava. I think it's a passion fruit too. So
Yes.
I'll have all these different fruits. And yes, I love myself some passion fruit.
I
I
just
ordered them from
learned
him
about
as well.
passion fruit.
Huh?
I When I went to St. Lucia last year, I never had passion fruit before. I tasted that passion fruit from that
Look,
day to the day I was running to the van to catch my plane. I had to go get me some passion fruit before I came home. And when I came home, I was like, I I came home and went straight to the Spanish market. And I was like, "Do y'all have passion fruit?" The guy was like, "Oh, it just went out of season."
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
They're out of season. So
Oh,
I'll have so much fruit in my house that I end up going on a fruit fast without intentionally going. But you're right,
intentionally.
Marcy, you have
Yeah.
to be careful with those that are high in natural sugar because it still can have the same effect on your body because your body is so intolerant of those sugars. But I think this is an amazing topic of
Yeah.
how we can take care of our bodies, take care of our spiritual lives,
Yeah.
so we can take care of our physical lives.
Yeah.
I
I love
just think
it.
that's important. Thank you so much, Miss Cliff. You got
Oh,
some more to
you're
share with
welcome.
us?
You're welcome. The
Oh
last
yes, the lab.
person.
See, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother series.
Oh boy.
That's a whole nother show. So the comment that our wonderful producer made is about these lab created fruits. So you know,
Yeah, having seedless grapes, it would never make sense to me because I'm like, how would I be able to reproduce? How would I be able to plant my own grape tree? So be
which
careful
is
what you
I
what you
don't
put.
eat
And
seedless
seedless
grapes.
watermelon.
I
Like,
don't eat seedless watermelon. I don't eat seedless
Yeah, it
grapes.
doesn't
I
make
don't eat
sense.
seedless apple. I don't
Yeah.
eat seedless oranges. I don't eat any. And there are some things that are naturally come together in nature because the seeds come, cross
Hmm.
the field and they kind of pollinate together and grow their own fruit. But those that are grown in the labs, it's like no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Like I
And
said, it's
it's sad. Yeah.
it is,
Really
that's why when we're eating, and I'm gonna cut this short because this is a whole different show.
sad.
We just have to be careful what we take in our bodies because our inner selves can be affected by what we intake. We want to be careful with that because we don't want to put stuff in our bodies that don't allow us to function ultimately as we should,
Yeah.
So I'll leave that there.
Yeah, this was really good, and I'm excited for even our next conversation. I mean, today we spoke about that spiritual clarity, spiritual, holistic, healthy living, and we're going to touch on physical and even sexual healthy living. So let
Yeah.
us dive into our affirmations and get them prepped for the following show. I know you guys are going to be excited, and we want you to comment on what type of fasting you would want to practice for that, mindful clarity and connection,
Yeah.
with your inner self and with the Lord.
So my affirmation is I know the power of prayer as it guides, heals, and strengthens me. My heart is open to divine wisdom, knowing that I am protected. Yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, and
Yeah,
always connected to my creator God.
love it.
I nourish myself with love, balance, and intuition.
Yes.
Love it. With each moment spent in prayer and fasting, I open my heart to receive wisdom, healing, and breakthrough that align with God's will for my life. Yes.
Mhm.
In our scripture, but this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Matthew 17, verse 21.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Has been a exciting conversation today.
Yeah.
Anytime we're talking about keeping ourselves connected to our source,
Hmm.
Creator God, for me, whatever that might be for you who are listening, no judgment here, but just being connected to something greater than us and
Yeah.
having a routine that maintains that connectivity, whatever that looks like for you, is what we are promoting here.
Hmm.
Holistic living in our series, our part one series is the power of prayer and fasting. Whatever that looks like for you, we encourage you to establish a routine for yourself.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, thank you so much, affirmers, for
Thank you,
listening. We
guys.
appreciate you so much. But before we go, there's something we say at the end of every show, Miss Marcy. What is it?
You are your first priority, so act
Act
like
like
it.
it.
Exactly. Thank you again for listening. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and follow and comment. And we'll see you on the next episode.